The girl in apartment 13, real urban horror story. She wasn't alone. This happened when I was 24. My name's Tasha, and back then I was living in this old brick building off Lamberth Street in Detroit. Now, if you from the D, you already know what I mean when I say those old buildings got stories. You hear pipes knocking in the walls, smell something weird from the vents, or hear your neighbor talking through the radiator. But rent was cheap, and I was broke. So yeah, I stayed. I was juggling two jobs back then. One at the diner off Gratiot, the other at a beauty supply store that closed way too late. That Thursday night in late October, I had just finished a double. It was cold enough to see your breath even inside the bus shelter. I remember it clear as day. All I wanted was to take a shower, pour a glass of cheap wine, and let Netflix carry me to sleep. But when I got home that night, something felt off. The hallway was too damn quiet. Usually you'd hear music from somebody's Bluetooth speaker or Ms. Davis cussing her son out from 2 floors down. But that night, nothing, no sound, just the buzz of one flickering light above apartment 11. When I reached my door, apartment 13, I noticed my doormat was flipped over. Now, little stuff like that usually don't mean much in the city. Kids playing, maybe maintenance came through, but still, something in my chest tightened. I slid my key into the lock and felt resistance. Like the lock had been turned from the inside. I froze. My first thought was maybe I locked it wrong that morning, but then I got it open and the chain lock, the one I always latch before bed, was just hanging loose. And that's when the smell hit me. Sweat, cigarettes, and something sour like wet clothes left to rot in a bag. I stepped in slow, whispering to myself, "Ain't nobody in here. Chill, Tasha. Just chill." But the air felt thick, like somebody had just been moving around and stopped. The living room was dark, but the bathroom light way down the hall was on. I knew I hadn't left that light on. The hum from the fridge sounded louder than usual, like the whole place was holding its breath. Then I saw it, a half-empty can of beer sitting on my counter. I don't drink beer. That's when my stomach dropped. I backed toward the door, trying to remember if I locked my window that morning. My phone was dead, killed it scrolling during my break at work. So I grabbed the only thing I could, my kitchen knife, and I said out loud, "Whoever in here better say something right now before I call the cops." My voice cracked halfway through it. Silence. Then, the faintest sound, the creak of my bedroom door. It was open just a sliver, enough for the dark to spill out like it was breathing. My first thought was Rico, my ex. He'd been texting crazy the last few weeks, stuff like, "You think you safe in there? And I know where you at." I gripped the knife tighter, took one step forward, then another creak, then a whisper. Not words, just breathing. I swear I could feel eyes on me from that dark room. That's when I snapped out of it. I bolted, didn't even think, just turned and ran straight out the apartment, barefoot in socks down that long-ass hallway that suddenly felt miles long. I didn't even wait for the elevator. I hit the stairs so fast I almost fell twice. When I hit the front door, the cold air smacked me in the face. I sprinted all the way to the corner gas station, the one with the flickering red open sign that never turned off. That's where I called 911. The operator kept asking if I was safe, but I couldn't stop shaking. All I kept saying was, "Somebody's been in my apartment. I swear somebody's still in there." By the time the cops showed up, it was past midnight. 2 squad cars and an unmarked. They went up, guns drawn, slowly opened my door. I was standing outside with the clerk from the gas station, watching from across the street. 20 minutes later, they came back down. One of the officers looked at me and said, "Ma'am, whoever it was, they're gone now. But we found signs of entry. Inside, they found my bedroom window unlocked, muddy footprints on the carpet, and all my dresser drawers half open. And then the part that made my skin crawl. They said it looked like somebody had been staying there, eating my food, showering, maybe even sleeping in my bed. One officer showed me an empty food container from the kitchen, something I hadn't touched in weeks. He said, "Looks like this wasn't a one-time break-in. Whoever it was has been using your place while you were at work." I remember my knees damn near gave out right there in that hallway. I moved out later that week, packed everything I owned in black trash bags, and left that building behind. But the thing is, I still think about it, because that building, it didn't have cameras. Maintenance guy barely worked. And my new neighbor, the one I used to hear pacing upstairs every night, turns out nobody lived in that unit. Now, here's the part that still messes with me. A few months later, I was scrolling through Facebook one night. Someone had shared one of those abandoned Detroit apartment pages, people posting pictures of rundown units, graffiti, old furniture left behind. I was halfway through the comments when I froze, because one of the photos, was my apartment. Same crack in the paint above the outlet, same bedspread I'd left behind. Except the picture was recent. It was taken after I moved out, and in the reflection of the mirror, you could just barely make out a figure standing behind the camera, face blurred, but he had on the same style muddy work boots that left prints on my bedroom floor. So yeah, that's why I'll never live alone again. People always think the scariest things are ghosts or demons or shadows in the dark, but let me tell you something. Sometimes the real horror is just another person, watching you, waiting for you to go to work, slipping in and out of your life like they belong there. And the worst part, you might never even know they're still watching. What would you have done if this happened to you? Don't keep it to yourself. Please comment below. And if real horror is your thing, subscribe to the YouTube channel Sites of Horror and turn on notifications so you never miss a story.